Welcome to the February 28th edition of Gridlife Digest Weekly, the culture and gaming podcast, and the number one. I couldn't think of anything this week, so we're not gonna top any charts. That sucks. But my name is Noah Friscott. Joining me is Platt Matt Kuklinski. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
It's been a interesting few days for me. I know it's been a while since you've been on. You've been up to anything shenanigans?
Um, no, not really. Just watching Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, nice, very nice. I'm
Uh,
thinking about it.
you should. It is so good.
I already dedicated myself. I'm like, I already want to watch Cowboy Bebop more. And so
Right.
like I already have like five animes that I want to watch. I'm like, I can't pile in another one on there. But
Yeah, yeah.
especially one that's so long and long going and ongoing.
Yeah, it's like 291
That's
episodes.
nuts. Yeah, that's
Yeah, but
uh
hey, at least it's not One Piece that has like 800 plus episodes.
I couldn't imagine trying to break into that series. Like that has been going on for forever now. It's
It
nuts.
it has, but the thing is, like, I used to watch it and read the manga, and I stopped because I don't know, I don't know why I just kind of got out of it, I guess. Like I just stopped reading it, and then in my like whatchamacallit, I just wasn't doing it anymore,
Hmm.
and I'm kind of out of touch with it now, but like I enjoyed the series when I was following it still. To its credit, it's a pretty good show. But yeah, it's 800 plus episodes is a
That's
bit overwhelming.
That's nuts. I remember watching, I don't know if it was when it started early on, but I remember seeing some of it. Like there was a portion when it was on TV very many years ago that I remember, but I couldn't tell you anything that happened or what the plot is or anything. I
Right.
just know he stretches for some reason and he's scared of water. Is that the thing?
Well, he does stretch, and the reason that he is quote unquote scared of water is because that's like his weakness.
Gotta have a foil.
All right. All right, so I'm gonna try to sum up One Piece kind of
Educate me.
brief synopsis. So Luffy, he can stretch. The reason why is because when he was a young lad, he ate this fruit. They call it a devil fruit,
I do remember that now.
and yeah, what it does is yeah, all right, yeah. So yeah. So he eats the devil fruit, and it gave him that power. And there's lots of different devil fruits that give you lots of different powers. And now the one thing that every devil fruit has in common, a devil fruit, you will not be able to swim. If you go into the water, you will not be able to move, and you'll basically drown. And that's why he is, quote unquote, afraid of water.
It's a great premise for a pirate show. Just it's
Yeah,
probably an
yeah,
important skill to have. Undone
yeah.
by water. Well,
But
very interesting. I will never try to watch that, but it's good to get it, just what little I do know jogged back into my memory. But
mhm.
so for the uninitiated, each of us uses a topic for conversation, and we recommend a piece of media for the group and audience to check out. You can get the show on YouTube and the podcast service of your choice every Wednesday, and be sure to check out gridlifedigest.com to see all the content in one place. In addition to being available on demand on the platform of your choice, we sometimes stream the recording live on twitch.tv/gridlifedigestplays if you like your podcast raw and unedited. Unfortunately, we are not doing that this week as the MILF man, Micah Binfet, is away working on some stuff. So while you're at it, follow us on all of our social media platforms at Gridlife Digest on Twitter and Instagram, as well as at Gridlife Digest Pod on Facebook, so you never miss what's happening. So now it is time for the weekly Grid Life Digest press conference, sponsored by the fact that The Dark Knight Rises is actually a better movie than Spider-Man 3. Suck it, Eli. You're a crazy person. So I put up an opinion video on Kingdom Come Deliverance, a new medieval RPG, on how its director isn't actually racist despite being called racist. I still think he's kind of a dick, but that's besides the point. Go check that out. It's our first dislikes on a video. As of right now, 2 dislikes, so it's controversial for us. I also asked for them. If, I was like, hey, if you like it, give it that up vote. If you don't, give me a down vote. I like the honest criticism. And also, Gridlife Gold should be up by now. Obviously, I can't look into the future, but if we hold into the schedule, it should be up on our YouTube channel. Go check that out. See the second batch of Xbox Live Gold games. See if they're worth your download. And so now we can move in. What have you been playing, Matt? Video games.
So the only thing I have been playing of recent is Dragon Ball Z Fighters,
Amen.
and that's the game that what made me want to get back into rewatching Dragon Ball Z, because it's been so long since I watched the series again, and I did not want to jump into Dragon Ball Super because I don't know, I'd rather just rewatch the original, quote unquote original, because Dragon Ball Z is I
Sequel.
guess a spin-off, yeah,
Yeah.
sequel spin-off of Dragon Ball. But yeah, I've been watching Dragon Ball Z again, like I said earlier, and I'm like 20 something episodes deep and really enjoying it, enjoying the game too. Um, so I know I said that I was going to be reviewing the game. I'm still planning on doing that. It's just that I had these 2 exams that I was had to study for pretty much whenever I wasn't at work.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, so week I took both of my exams like the same day, which was annoying, but got that over with. And so what happened was is you know I got through those, and so free time now because I didn't have to study. So I started playing the game again, and my opinions of it, changed a little bit, for the better. Um, that I wrote a little bit, and then re-record. But when I was playing it, I was capturing a lot of footage. So I think I'm gonna be working on it tomorrow. Like getting all my clips together, and too long that I'll have everything finished. So
Awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
look forward to that.
That game is gorgeous looking. Like I'm a fighting game guy kind of. I'm a very casual fighting game fan, but not really a Dragon Ball guy, but that game just looks so much fun, and I'm probably going to end up caving on it eventually just for the just the visuals and just how just it looks like it makes you feel really cool playing it.
It does, especially like when you win a game online. It's just
Hmm.
such a satisfying feeling. And so today is the 25th. It's about to be the 26th. 7th, they're revealing the first DLC characters, Broly and Bardock. Hopefully, they're gonna announce a release date for them, and I can't wait for that. I'm gonna buy the Fighter Z pass or whatever.
Their season pass.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever they come out, and gonna go ham on that. But yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's all I've been playing.
Yeah, it sounds like quite the commitment. I mean, fighter games always take many, many hours to, really get into and really get to
Yeah.
master. And I saw you were going on brand repping that LaCroix just now.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Totally. The lemon LaCroix, one of my favorite flavors.
I had to show it off just because we do have video now. If you're listening to the audio version, go look on our YouTube channel, so you can see his lemon LaCroix and all of the lemon LaCroix glory. So what have I been playing? Not much. I've been watching a lot of Red Letter Media when I'm not at work, just because I've been working so much. I did play a big giant chunk of the technically third Dishonored 1 DLC today called the Brigmore Witches. It is almost like a sequel to another DLC. So it's like you had Dishonored 1 and then these DLC packs came in for it. And they were like it had its own self-contained storyline, so it's almost episodic in a way. It's really complicated for no reason. I wish the remaster on PlayStation 4 just kind of pushed them into one game. But anyway, I can't stress how much I love that series. Just nothing in a game feels as satisfying as when you just do something crazy and awesome spontaneously. Like it's all about kind of the idea of emergent gameplay and just all the mechanics and systems working together and kind of this sense of really extreme player choice and freedom. And it just kind of all culminates just moment after moment in this series. And there's some really cool level design in these DLCs specifically that kind of separate it from the base game. And then you also get to see some of the narrative consequences from your actions in the base game. So it kind of just even more expansion of the world. Have you played Dishonored at all? Are you familiar?
No, I have not.
If you have any inclination for stealth games, I highly recommend it. You can also kind of do it as a combat game, but I wouldn't recommend it as much unless you go on like on easy or something because it's very much at its core a stealth game. But it's man, I adore that series so much, and I'm meaning to go back to my God of War series full playthrough, but haven't done yet. Just time, and then just messing around with some stuff on the Switch. But that's basically it. Pretty light, unfortunately. Yeah. Love Dishonored. Go shout out to Arcane Studios on Twitter. You guys are doing some great shit. All right. So now we can move on to topics. So yours is a little bit more serious, so I'm going to start us off here. Just a reminder, we are only doing 2 topics now on Gridlife Digest Weekly, but that has been really easy considering the last 2 weeks we've had only 2 people, so we haven't had to vote or cut it down at all. It's made it really simple. So mine, I want to talk about what is your favorite duo in games. So basically, like we talked about kind of couples last week or the week before, but like I want to talk about like for example like Ratchet and Clank or Jack and Daxter. Like who is your favorite 1-2 punch of characters?
Huh. That's a good question.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
So mine, like I just said, Ratchet and Clank probably was one of my earliest examples. Marcus and Dom from Gears of War, Master Chief and Arbiter from Halo, but my number one, which was also this is probably kind of a cheap pick for because I also used it as the favorite couples, but Commander Shepard and Garrus Vakarian from Mass Effect, like they're just such a great duo and they play off each other so well. You get to see their whole relationship grow over the course of 3 games, and they really grow together as well as individually. So, and that's not really something you get to see in many series, especially ones that are affected by your actions. So I was thinking like there's so many games that tout themselves as having these 2 protagonists, or often co-op games will be billed as like there's these there's this duo, they're both badasses or whatever. But I'm trying to think like what is like the quintessential gaming duo, because there's so many.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm looking through my trophies, so I could see like all the games that I played. The first one that comes to mind would be Clementine and Lee Everett from The Walking Dead.
Great pick. That's a great pick.
Yeah, their relationship in the beginning of the game. Granted, it's been like probably like 2 years since I played it, so I'm a little hazy on some of the details. But in the beginning, Lee, he doesn't really care for Clementine that much. Like he's not trying to a father figure to her. He's just like well, I don't remember. Like as you play the game like further along, it's like really care about her, and like she cares about him. And in the beginning, she's kind of like cautious, like she doesn't really know him, and all that. So yeah, and then the ending, the sad, tragic ending
Very, very sad still.
that happens. Yeah, very, very sad. Like I don't cry very often when I'm playing games, but that ending, I was bawling my eyes
Dude,
out.
it hits hard. Yeah, that's a great one. I can't believe I didn't think of Joel and Ellie almost
Oh
immediately.
yeah, that
That's,
yeah.
I mean, the whole scene where, they have that heart to heart, like, you're not my daughter, or I don't care about you, and she's like, I need you or whatever, like that whole scene. That's talk about a scene that makes me tear up. That scene's one of my favorite in the entire game. I mean, Nathan and Sully, Nathan and Elena, like basically
Hmm.
Naughty Dog is really good at duos. I mean, even going back to Crash, like Crash and his whole surrounding cast, like that's so many great relationships and dynamics. I'm trying to
Yeah,
think.
FIFA 16, the soccer player and the
That's a
goalie,
that's a deep cut. That's definitely an obscure one there. I like it. I like it.
Let me looking through my trophies. What else? Um,
Mario and
oh,
Luigi.
Life is Strange, Max and Chloe.
Okay. Okay. I haven't
They
played
have
it.
they have a pretty. Oh, you haven't played it?
I haven't played it yet. Yeah, no. I know like everyone loves that their whole relationship, but I can't
Oh,
add anything to this one, unfortunately.
okay. Well, so the interesting thing about Life is Strange is that story of the game, Max and Chloe, they're like best friends, and then Max, I think it was Max, she moved, and basically, they kind of lost touch, or they didn't communicate back and forth with each other. They didn't keep in touch, and so Chloe, it's like pretty pissed. Are like such good friends, and then later on, Max moves back. They eventually meet up again, and they start hanging out again and stuff. But then, when you're playing the game, Chloe, she, every now and then she'll mention like, why haven't I heard from you? Like, what happened? Like stuff like that. And then, once you get towards the end of the game, you see like they're like becoming like really really good friends again, like just like they used to be and stuff. So you get to see like their uh be like reborn, I guess you could say. And yeah, that was a good one.
Nice. Yeah, it's on my list of like I know I need to play this. I own it. I own the game. It's sitting there on
You
my
own the
PlayStation.
game?
Yeah, it's sitting there on my PlayStation 4 in my like adventure game folder or whatever. I just have not gotten to it for whatever reason. What was the one I was just
Oh,
looking at?
okay.
I was
I
just
mean,
looking at it.
that's why don't you just play like an episode a day?
I mean, that's a good call, but I also I got like Tales of the Borderlands. It's basically because I have all these episodic games that I need to play and that I have. It's just like which one do I
Right.
start first? It's just that whole
Ooh.
rigmarole. But
Oh, you haven't played Tales from the
no,
Borderlands
I
yet?
haven't. I'm really behind on a lot of stuff. It's bad.
Ooh.
It's really bad.
That's probably like my favorite Telltale game, to be
That's what a
honest.
lot of people say, and I'm sure it's great and it looks great. But I just one of these days,
And
man, it's not enough
and
time.
then like immediately after playing that, I was like, all right, I gotta play Borderlands 2
Borderlands,
because I
yeah.
games since I bought the game even before I had my PlayStation 4 because Target had that buy two get one free deal.
Oh yeah.
So I had Borderlands 2 for like a good 2 years before I hang it. And yeah, once I finished Tales, I was like, okay, I need to get back into this Borderlands thing because Borderlands, a lot of fun.
You're in it for the long haul. You're like one of these days, one day, I don't know when, but it's gonna pay off. That's pretty awesome. One of my favorites, Solid Snake and Otacon. They're just from Metal Gear Solid. They just really play off each other well, kind of like Garrus and Shepard from Mass Effect. They just there's a scene in the second game where they do like this total like bro like secret handshake thing, and they're like such stoic characters, and then you see them break down to like this moment of levity, and it's just all of their interactions I just love watching. The one of the classics, Link and Navi from Ocarina of Time. um,
Oh,
it's kind of a one-sided relationship, as Link isn't really a character, but it's one I would be remiss for not mentioning.
hey, listen.
Yeah, that's about the extent of the intricacies of their relationship there. But definitely one of the first
Oh,
examples. Let me think. I mean, I've never been into Diddy Kong, but Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong, they've always been kind of labeled as a duo. Um, Marcus and Dom, Banjo Kazooie, a lot of platformers.
oh
It's
yeah.
very prevalent in platformers. Um, the Everett, Ratchet, Sonic and Tails. Don't care for. I mean, that's about even less, more shallow than than Link and Navi. It's like I'm just gonna fly around with this blue guy, see what happens.
Right.
I don't know if I mentioned Jack and Daxter for
Um,
Emma.
I think that was the first one you mentioned,
It's possible.
or was that
The first one was Ratchet and Clank, I believe,
another game?
which is
Oh yeah, okay. I get
probably
those confused
yeah.
sometimes.
They're. I remember one of the Ratchet games. You could actually unlock a Jack skin, and
Oh
it labeled it as like he's his alternate universe rival or something. I'm like, all right, so they know how just um totally unabashedly similar they are. It's like they both got
yeah.
these
Way
long
to make
ass
it
ears.
more.
They both shoot people. Oh, Gordon Freeman and Alex
Um,
Vance from Half Life. It's a great one. They even though he is a mute, they you can still kind of feel their relationship out. Um, Man, there's so many.
I guess I would say Sora and Riku from Kingdom Hearts because I don't know, they just have like an interesting relationship because Kingdom Hearts 1, they they've been friends for a while, and then Riku gets sucked in over to the dark side, I guess, and then Sora's looking for Riku, and like the whole game you're basically looking for Riku. You got to fight him like multiple times because I don't know, he's on some Maleficent influence type shit.
Of
He just
course.
he just he just loses it, man.
Such
he
nuance.
starts he starts hanging out with all these Disney villains and stuff, and
Not a good crowd.
the right thing, no, no, not at all. And then like uh the ending of Kingdom Hearts 1, uh Sora and Riku are, they finally like meet up with each other again, and then they like get lost, or they get separated from each other.
Oh no.
And then yeah, and then Chain of Memories, Sora's looking for Riku like the whole game and he doesn't find him. And then Kingdom Hearts 2, it's not till the very end of the game where they finally like reunite together,
Holy crap.
and then they come up to defeat Xemnas together, and it's like a whole journey, like
That's rough.
yeah. So I would say that's a good one.
A good one where they hardly see each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn, that's rough. Going I mean those are long games too, right? Like that's a
Mm,
long time to go without.
yeah, they're pretty long. Depends on like where you are and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's to be expected.
But yeah, there's a lot of there.
Man, there's a
Let's
lot.
see what else is there.
I'm looking through a bunch of lists and we've kind of covered the really popular ones. I still probably my number one is still probably Garrison Shepherd though. If I had to rank.
Right.
Um,
I don't even have like a ranking. I'm just throwing out like good
yeah, just
characters.
shout outs.
Yeah. Uh,
I'm on one list right now. It says number 23 Cole Phelps and all of his partners. Just all of them.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. LA Noir, good game. He does have pretty interesting interactions with his partners. And it's interesting because each partner that you have is like completely different than the last guy. So you're never gonna have a partner 100% the same as the last one or the next one. They are all like pretty unique, and they all have like really interesting dialogue and stuff with each other. And there's a few scenes in the game where I think there's like one or two, or maybe even three moments in the game where Cole, his current partner, and then like his old partners are in like the same scene together, and it's interesting to see like interacting together. And yeah, that's not. I really enjoyed that game. Good game.
I have it and I started it. That's another one to just add it to my backlog of shame that I need to
Yeah,
get back to.
I think
Um,
you got that. You started it before I did, and
yeah, I
then
was like, this is a really good game, and you're like,
yeah.
I want a modern day detective game, but I'll try it out, and then you ended up platting it,
Hmm.
excuse me. Um, so another one I can't believe I left out Isun Inamaterasu from Okami, one of my favorite games. Okay, so basically picture
What game?
from Okami, basically picture if Navi
Oh, okay.
actually had depth. That's what Isun is like. He is the little like sprite
Hmm.
that tells you where to go and bosses you around, but then also has good writing
Oh, okay.
and is a fun character. To Amaterasu basically being the mute like Link-esque character. So that's that kind of dynamic done really well, and we need to see more of
Gotcha.
that. Let me see. Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Dexter, a lot of redundancies here. Aiden Sully, Gordon Alex, Master Chief Cortana. Probably mention that. This list, it's on complex.com. It says number one Ash and Pikachu, but that's wasn't like
What?
Pokemon Yellow like the only one that it was actually Ash. I don't buy it.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah,
I don't buy it. Like he says Ash parentheses red, but they're not the same people, from what I
yeah.
understand.
They're. I'm pretty sure they're two different people.
This
I
isn't
mean,
canon.
no, like the Pokemon games and the anime, it can get confusing
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's very
I
convoluted.
in my mind, they've always been like separate, to be honest. But
Yeah, no, for sure. There
what do
was
I know?
I know there was like one animated thing that was very much using the games as the source material primarily, but I can't remember what that was called. Um,
It was like the thing that came out like a couple years ago, right?
yeah, it's fairly recent.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was like actually the character Red,
Hmm.
a couple episodes of that.
I don't know.
What was it called? Whatever.
I'm sure
But
it'll come
yeah,
to me.
that,
Micah might be perturbed at me if I don't mention Booker and Elizabeth from BioShock Infinite. I know he really likes that game. Another one on my shame list.
oh yeah,
Um,
good game. Well, yeah, it was a good game, but I prefer the two before it.
yeah, that original one, man, still so good. Oh, the Ice Climbers. How could I forget the Ice
Oh
Climbers?
yeah,
So much depth there.
they're literally they're literally like surgically attached to each other in
Yep,
Super Smash Bros.
yep.
I,
It's like an invisible like wire connecting them both at all times.
yeah,
That sounds miserable.
exactly.
Honestly, could you
It
imagine?
does. How do they go to the bathroom?
They just they've sucked up all their pride and they just totally open with one another and yeah, they just let it happen. I guess I don't want to think
Hmm.
about it past that.
Must
Anyway,
must get really interesting in the bedroom.
wow. Now you. I've never ever once thought of the potential romantic lives of the ice climbers, but here we are. Welcome to Gridlife Digest Weekly, everybody. Wow. What would that be like? Just like they're
I
always
don't
there.
know.
Like it's a threesome whether you like it or not. Like you get one, you get the other.
Now, are they like related to each other, or are they just like two friends?
I thought they were related, which makes it even worse.
Because
Um, all right,
I'll look it up.
yeah, we need to
I
look
don't
into our
know
ice climbers
how
lore.
much
I swore they were brother and sister.
ice
Is there an
climbers.
ice climbers wiki?
I mean, there should be, right?
Probably.
Yeah, ice climber. is a vertical platform game. Blah blah blah.
Go to their Smash.
Covered mountains. Oh, okay.
Popo and Nana. How can I forget?
Those those are their names?
Yeah, Popo and
A
Nana.
boy and no. Okay, so we know their names, but are they related? That is the question.
I don't know. I don't know. Just Popo and Nana related? Question mark. We need to get to the bottom of this as soon as possible. Ice climbers, Popo and Nana related. We need to know.
We do need to know.
30th anniversary. No, that's just that's DeviantArt. I don't want to go there. I do not want to go there for ice climbers related to anything.
No, you do not want to go there.
Safe search is on. I don't want to see it. Yeah, why is this such a mystery? Where did I get the idea that they were? Because I remember very clearly ice climbers relationship is a Google result.
Between Popo and Nana is unknown and was not elaborated on in Ice Climber. This is from Smash Wiki, so take this with a grain of salt, of course.
Okay.
But I don't know. I know Wikipedia is not always the most reliable source of information. Every college professor will tell you that, but in my usage of Wikipedia, I've always found it to be like mostly right.
And especially the ones that are like game specific, like this is the Smash Brothers wiki, like they have all their sources nailed down. Yeah, I'm on the same thing that you're on.
So like, if they're not related, then I guess maybe they are in a relationship together, and it's not weird. I don't know.
The thing that you were reading, it says, as the two are said to be rarely seen apart in Melee, among the ideas brought up by fans are that the two are siblings, friends, or even lovers. So the door is wide open with this.
It seems so.
Just let your imagination wander on this one.
I guess it's up to interpretation.
The relationship of the ice climbers.
Or at some point, somebody has to ask, like Sakurai or one of the Nintendo people, like at a panel, like, can you confirm these rumors, concerns? Can you confirm their relationship status?
So I've gotten into like the totally just overtly sexual fan art now in my searches. Here's an example. Popo and Nana, more realistically looking. You, me, bed now.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. So there's definitely some romantic tension there, at least among the fans. I don't
doubt it.
I don't doubt. I mean, even if they were related, it wouldn't stop these people. But
yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
They're so thirsty, endlessly thirsty for anybody. I've never thought this. I've never thought this intently about the ice climbers in my entire life. I just want you to know that.
Well, it's time for everything.
This is the first time to think. Just don't look up anything tangent. Don't search ice climbers art, because I've seen some things already, and I'm trying to wash it away in my memory. Anyway, so yeah, there's some good duos in video games, huh?
Yeah, man, definitely.
So, all right, now we can probably move into yours. What's your topic?
Okay, so here it is more the series. So I want to talk about the Florida. And I guess you before we started, you said you're not quote unquote well informed. So what do you know about it?
I just, so this comes down to honestly a really sad reality that we find ourselves in, or at least I find myself in, where this shit happens so fucking often that I'm almost numb to it at this point. Like, that's how sad it is, that it's like another one Like, are you kidding me? Like, when does it stop? So what do I know? What was the guy's name?
Uh, off the top of my head, I don't even remember it.
Honestly, even if
But
I'm also wouldn't mind not ever saying his name because these pieces of
yeah,
shit just they don't deserve any kind of recognition whatsoever. Um, I know that it was premeditated. Like they found people like that he was talking about doing this for like months in advance, and nobody stopped him. I know that there's like this big old hang up like with the NRA and everything that's going on, and how it's reignited the debate on gun control and assault weapons and all that, and also the fact that the president of the United States is blaming games and violent media for it again because distraction tactics, um, which is
yeah.
ridiculous. Yes,
And he's also throwing out the idea that teachers should be armed. What do you think about that?
I think if a trained police officer struggles in that situation, especially when there's kids involved, you think a teacher is going to be like a totally like calm and collected, trained marksman in this? Like it's not going to work out. It's I feel like more people would get hurt this way. But also
Yeah,
I don't know how the feeling of having armed police officers constantly patrolling schools is either because I mean that I don't know about you, but if I was in school and I was a kid, that I don't know if that would make me feel safe. Like imagine just having a bunch of cops with like assault rifles just wandering around all the time. Like it's kind of a really tense atmosphere. But also if that would help prevent it, maybe it's okay. I don't. It's so complicated because I don't know, man.
yeah. So, in your high school, did you have like any cops on the campus at
Yeah,
all, or no?
we had one mainly, and then a couple here and there, depending on if there was issues. But yeah,
Okay.
one like primary officer on campus at all times.
Oh, okay. So, at my high school, we didn't have that, and I don't know if in my town at any of our schools because when I was going to high school, I never saw police officers at school unless there was like some sort of a fight or an incident. But yeah, they never patrolled my area. We just had like security guards, but carried any weapons or anything like that. Anything even like remotely close to being a weapon, like pepper spray or like a baton. They were just security guards that they just had their fists, I guess. I
Yeah,
mean, like
tackle
they,
somebody.
yeah, basically. There was at my high school there was an incident where somebody punched a security guard, and I don't know the details of that incident other than that, but yeah. So the security guard, I guess, must have just like fought back using his hands or whatever. But yeah. So did you hear that like the FBI they knew about this guy that he had like a bunch of issues and stuff?
Yeah, it's like it was totally premeditated. Like he had
Yeah.
obvious signs that he was fucked up and that he's gonna hurt people, and nothing happened. And unfortunately, until it was too late. And then did you also hear that there were armed officers outside the school hearing gunfire, but because of the protocol, they weren't allowed to enter. So it's like how
Uh,
it's
well, so uh, I don't know. I don't think it there was protocol set in place for that because
okay.
the uh, the sheriff or whatever, the guy who I guess was like um, the direct supervisor of the officer who didn't go in. He suspended him for not going into the school,
Okay, I did not know
and
that. All right.
yeah, so he was being investigated, and he actually resigned and retired.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they did not do their jobs. They were supposed to go in and, do something, like either neutralize the threat or try to get kids out of there. But the problem is they didn't do anything. Is that's a big factor. Law enforcement, they failed. The FBI, they failed, and then the government whole, I guess, failed too because of you know all the prior shootings that thing about, and they just nobody acted, and it was too late. So it's a pretty big issue that only happens in this country. You know,
Yeah, like
unfortunately.
undeniably, like the vast majority of other countries, like none of this stuff happens to them. Like it's nuts. Like if that isn't telling, I don't know what is.
Yeah. So, why do you think that? Why don't legislators do anything about this? Because in Australia, I believe it was, they had, one massive shooting or something like that. Uh, they banned guns or they enacted some sort of legislation, and they haven't had any problems since. So, we haven't had any sort of change in the U.S.
I feel like it's so ingrained in especially the Republican Party right now. We like places, like or agencies like the NRA and stuff, like it's so ingrained with money. It's like
Right.
it's it's impossible because the when the top of the government refuse is so fucking corrupt that they refuse to enact policies to protect children, but instead protect business opportunities and business connections. That's when things are truly messed up. And did you hear like there's a bunch of protests from specifically like high school kids that are saying like enough is
Yeah.
enough. Like I want to be able to go to school and not fear for my life. Like we need to do something about this. Like as someone who has largely been very much a pro gun owner, I want to own guns. I appreciate the right to own guns, but if there was a way that we could enact smart, logical like restrictions and make it harder to purchase, I think that would honestly go a long way. It's way too easy right now. Like you look at like I read a story about this guy who bought a AR-15 in like the parking lot of specifically a Cracker Barrel, just strangely enough. Basically just as a point to illustrate like it's so easy to acquire weapons, and he gave his up to the police because a lot of people are doing that, I guess. Um,
Right, right.
I don't see
Yeah,
I don't
some places have like well, some police departments will do like a gun buyback thing where you turn in your gun, they'll give you a certain amount of money for it. Usually I've seen like they give like up to $200 for any sort of gun you may have, and it's no question. Even if you don't have a legal permit for it or anything like that, you just have a gun, you have no documentation for it. They can't ask you any questions because it's no questions asked. So you turn in the gun, you get some cash. It's win-win for everybody. Get some guns off the streets or whatever.
off the streets, but also that's a weapon that could potentially somehow down the line trickle its way into somebody else's hands. Like I know it's under the control of law enforcement, but do those get moved? I just want to know like where are they keeping them all? Are they
Um,
getting recirculate? Like I don't know. It's just we don't obviously. I don't
I
think
get destroyed.
they get destroyed. Okay, okay,
I think so, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
okay. Because yeah, that's
Yeah.
something I was curious about too. It's like you have all these programs, and they're like yeah, like getting one gun off the street, but still people are if people want it all comes back down to like if someone who's fucked up in the brain wants
Hmm.
a gun to hurt someone, there is enough in this country where they're going to find one and they're going to be able to acquire one. Like it doesn't
Oh
matter
yeah.
how many people turn their own in.
Right,
It's
right.
just worse. The situation's so fucked. Like no matter what good people do, there's just too many to do anything that's actually going to fix things. And that's what really makes me sad. I,
Yeah. To your point, I think there's actually more guns in the United States than there are people, if I'm
oh
correct.
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that is correct. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like people who are afraid of like wide gun bans, it's like that's just not ever going to happen because it can't.
Yeah.
There's too many of them. And not to mention people aren't going to, just give up their Second Amendment rights overnight, especially people that are, gung ho on the Second Amendment. But I really do think that even just going as far as putting in smart, logical restrictions of purchasing, including like mental health tests and safety tests, and like it should be really difficult to be able to buy an assault
Yeah.
weapon. And I know there are statistics like handguns kill way more people a year than assault weapons do. But seriously, like you should have to significantly prove yourself in order to be able to purchase. I mean, honestly, make that handguns too. Like you should have to take a class, you should have to take a psychological exam. Like there should be steps required before you can just go out and purchase a firearm. Um, with the teachers thing, like I don't know, like I just don't like I look back at my teachers from high school. And I just think like would they like knowing them would they be able to handle a situation any differently if they were armed? And most of the time, except for a couple notable exceptions, no, I don't think so. I think that probably would have made it worse. But then you
Yeah.
have cops
'Cause
that don't come in and do their jobs. So it's a giant fucking mess, dude. It's like what do we do? What do we do? Give up all our guns? All right, but there's just still gonna be more guns. Like it's fucked.
yeah, I mean, the thing with the teachers, I feel like that would just like create like probably more gun deaths, because like,
Yeah, it's like people
you
are
know,
getting
if
caught like between. It's like teachers trying to, take down a armed assailant. A kid gets in the way. Like it's like that's such a slippery slope off right off
yeah,
the bat.
that is definitely the solution to preventing gun violence in high school is definitely not to bring in more guns
Guns,
into a high
yeah.
school.
It's like I don't know, man. But also, I wonder if just the teachers having guns would maybe prompt the assailants to maybe not do it. Maybe they'd be scared, but also a lot of the times these guys have fucking death wishes and they want to get
Yeah,
fucking lit up like crazy. So that's probably even more enticing to them.
exactly.
So it's like it's nuts, man. I don't know. I really don't know. You have people on both sides of the coin. More people, arm everybody. Everyone needs a gun to be able to defend our kids. And then we have people that are like, take them away, take them away, take them away. We don't need them. But the reality is, it's just there's just too many to do anything about it realistically. And like
Right.
if there was a button, hypothetically in a magical alternate universe, that's like here's a button to take away firearms and save countless kids. Like that is the only way this would go over and actually be able to change anything, and that's not going to happen. So what can we do in the meantime, do you think, to try to
Um,
make a difference?
well, the thing that comes to my mind first, because there's so much controversy with gun laws and stuff like that. My first, like, if I was in a position of power, my first instinct would be to increase security. So,
Mm,
every high school in my ideal perfect world would have metal detectors in entrance and exit. And like you know if you go through the metal detector and shit goes off, I think that for the safety of the kids and everybody else involved, there should be like some sort of there should be like some sort of check or something, like. But the thing with that, I guess that would make it hard is it's like a Fourth Amendment thing.
yeah, it's private. Yeah, kids don't want.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
they don't want you. They don't want you to find the weed stashed in their backpack. Like they don't want you looking through it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they would do it, like, but like they, or maybe if they do it like, I guess, at the airport where you got to put like all your stuff in like that little box and it goes through the metal detector or whatever, and then
But they can still see all the contents, right? So like they'd
uh
still be looking at your shit.
I mean, it would be, I mean, like your backpack wouldn't be open,
Yeah.
but if there's any like metal
Metal,
in
yeah, they'd
there,
stick out. Yeah, that's
it
true.
would go off.
That's
I
true.
mean, I don't know how it would work. Metal detectors, they have some sort of way to, be able to tell like if you have like something, you're bringing something into the school that is not allowed. Okay, so here's something. Maybe if it goes off, send that kid home because they should know better not to bring set the metal detector off. You wouldn't have to search the kid, I guess, so you would just send them home. I mean, it's not perfect, but that's the first thing that, there would have to be obviously like a bigger discussion. I don't know how people would go for that. Because you're sending kids home from school, but
Yeah, also
I
looking
mean,
back,
in
this
the
yeah, there are kids like just thinking about kids that I went to high school with, like they would abuse the crap out of that. Like, oh, if I bring my fucking huge Bowie knife to school, set the metal detector off, and send me home. Like, I just feel like yeah,
yeah,
there'd be so many kids that abuse that. But I
right,
know you said it was just kind of like an off the cuff, like first thing that came to mind thing. So, but that's the first thing that came to my head. Um, I don't know, man. I mean, I know you also said like perfect world, but that's expensive as hell.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh
every
yeah, it's
entrance,
it's
yeah.
gonna it's gonna cost billions,
But to save,
billions.
but to save so many lives, like I honestly, we're spending money on
Exactly.
worse shit. Like we can probably, dedicate some of our, fortunes to protecting our children. Like I'd say that's probably a worthwhile investment in my case, or in my opinion.
I mean, it's definitely better than building a wall,
I
you know?
that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
Um, did you see that our wonderful president wants to have it so there is a rating system for video games because they're corrupting our children and
A rating system? Isn't there
yeah,
already a
no,
rating system?
there's been a rating system for 30 years at this point, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, man, these violent video games, man, they're this is why we have school shootings, sponsored by the
Yeah,
NRA.
that is absolutely ridiculous. You know how many people I've shot up in
Yeah,
Uncharted?
yeah.
And okay, if Max is listening to this, yeah, I haven't finished Uncharted 4, whatever. But I played, all the other ones to completion. I killed so many people, but I never once in my life seriously contemplated going into a high school, bringing it up like,
It's just
I
like
don't know.
Uncharted.
Yeah.
Adventure. Yeah, no, it's bullshit. It's totally just a diversionary tactic. Like it's like, don't think about ways to actually fix things. We're gonna talk, we're gonna spin the story to be about games and shit. It's like it's a tale as old as time with this stuff, unfortunately. But
Um, did you see on Twitter that a lot of corporations they're ending their partnership with the NRA?
yeah, and that's honestly
So
that's probably a good start right
Delta,
there.
United Airlines, the first two that I could think of,
Hmm.
they they ended, they won't be giving discounts to the NRA for flights, I guess. I don't know what else they have in that partnership, but that's like one thing. And then I saw on Twitter that they were getting like really up in arms about it, then the NRA, but like when uh there was like like or something before, like something tragic that happened, they didn't really care that much. They care more about themselves rather than their cause. I don't know. It's Twitter, so
It's Twitter, yeah.
it might be complete BS. I don't know, but that's what I saw. Take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But I do know that for a fact, there's lots of corporations that are ending their NRA. So that's that might be good or bad,
A lot of like airlines and hotels and stuff. It's like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
people that, you know, that are of legislative power, you know,
Hmm.
frequent. So stuff like that, just like cutting down the amount of influence that these groups have on our legislation. I think that is a realistic thing that we can do. Like, stop supporting them, you know, make them see that, you know, that there is a clear one-sided opinion on, you know, we need to fix this, instead of just pumping more money into, you know, these groups. It's like, yeah, they said, they gave a statement like, you know, we're not, you know, this loss of our discounts or whatever doesn't sway our motives and our mission. But you keep it up, like, you have more and more companies starting to cut ties, like, that's gonna leave a dent, and the message
Yeah.
eventually will reach. And that's really all we can hope for at this point, because I believe it really does come down to, at the most basic level, like, just like groups like the NRA's control of legislation and real change, because they're fighting to keep the, you know, keep America the greatest country in the world because of our Second Amendment rights and shit. It's like, I'd rather have children not get shot than me being
Yeah.
able to go out and target shoot, as much as I love that. But I don't know, man. It's fucked.
So for the gun thing, do you think that assault weapons should just completely be banned, or?
I think you should have to take a significant class, or like several weeks of classes on like
Hmm.
weekends or something. You should have to take a psychological evaluation. You should have to have a background check. Like, you should have to go through rigorous steps to be able to purchase assault weapons. I'm not asking for the Second Amendment to be revoked. I just want it to be more difficult for people to acquire them, because it's way too easy at this point.
Right, right. Like we don't have to, completely ban guns, because that's
That's
never
not
gonna
gonna
happen.
happen. That's not gonna
It's
happen.
not gonna fly, but there are things we can do to regulate sales of firearms and whatnot.
Yep.
So,
Efficiently and intelligently. Like,
and yeah, at this point, like I feel like that should be the government's number one priority, because this is just getting ridiculous.
I mean, it's gotten ridiculous years ago,
Oh yeah, definitely,
but like, it's
definitely.
just gone to a boiling point now. It's like, where you have children that are making more intelligent points about gun control than our government is. Like, that's when you know, like, things are fucked up. Like,
Right.
some of these kids are like just completely just standing up to this shit, and it's really inspiring to watch, honestly. It's like, you
Oh
know,
yeah,
just go, you
definitely.
know, having walkouts and protests and stuff. It's like, at the threat of, you know, being suspended or expelled or whatever. It's like, it's really powerful. And if that doesn't send a message, I don't know what will. It's like, we just want to be able to have the right to live and not be, you know, risking our lives on a day-to-day basis because fucking psychos
Right.
out there.
Children's lives.
Yeah, it's, man, we just need to make it more difficult to acquire not just assault weapons, but weapons of all kinds, because pistols kill more than assault weapons do. And also, just, yeah, just make it so they don't have such a stranglehold on the government. But also, I mean, let's get rid of all corruption while we're at it in this perfect world. So, you know, it's like, who knows when that's going to happen, or if, or I mean, it's never going to happen, but specifically with the NRA and everything, like, we need to get it so their fucking chokehold on legislation is lifted, at least somewhat. Just get the message straight across. I don't know, man.
Right. It. I think that it's just still. I think the number one thing that I find the most mind-boggling is, the three or four cops that they didn't do like anything. Um, I mean, that's uh, they had a legal obligation to go in there and do something,
Something. Yeah.
but they didn't do anything. And I was talking with some people in the kind of funny group about it, and one person mentioned to me that the guy who did it, he had an assault weapon, AR-15, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that police officer was probably outgunned, because all he had was a handgun. But I imagine that a cop with as many years on the job as him, he most likely would have some type of rifle in his patrol car.
Oh yeah, they have shotguns, like
Um,
rifles, anything.
yeah, like most likely, and like so I've been on ride-alongs, and I've seen, it's the rifle or shotgun or whatever. It's like right like in the center console area of their car.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like a senior officer, you most likely would have one. I know that if you're like a rookie, you wouldn't, you might not have one if you haven't qualified with it yet. But a senior officer such as him, most likely had one. And if he didn't, I still feel like he could have gone into the school and gotten the kids to safety. Did something instead of just like standing outside for 4 minutes doing nothing.
With gunshots rolling the whole time. Like, what do you think was going through his mind? Like, oh shit, what do I do? Should I get? He was probably fuck terrified. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was terrified, and who could blame him? That the police, they trained for this exact thing though.
mm-hmm,
So that's the thing that is also kind of mind-boggling. I don't think anybody can blame him for being terrified, because 95% of cops, they will probably never get into a gunfight, let alone a school shooting.
mm-hmm.
But they do train for this type of thing. And from what I understand, they do it in schools, like the ones that they have police powers in. Like when there's no students during at school. So I mean, I don't know if like training didn't kick in for him, or what happened, but he didn't do anything. And it's it's horrible because it wasn't just him, it was like three other deputies. So
Yeah, yeah, it
I
was
don't
like a whole
know.
group. It's crazy. Did you hear about there's a school in Indiana where a bunch of retired veterans are actually volunteering to like provide security for
Oh,
a
really?
particular
And
school. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
oh, yeah,
Honestly,
that's
yeah, I don't know if they need to carry assault rifles around the entire time. I don't know if they are.
oh, yeah.
That was just
I don't, I
conjecture,
don't,
but
I
like
don't, I don't know. I don't know about that,
that's
but
jobs. Like honestly, that
something.
is jobs. Like that's a whole other thing. The unemployment rate of veterans pretty damn
Yeah.
high. But I don't know
hmm
also if you want them to, potentially be getting into that situation and have things, come
I
back and
mean, they would definitely have to go through like tense mental evaluation,
yeah, I agree.
just because of what they may have experienced
Hmm.
in the military. So
Yeah, you don't want that kicking in
um
in a really tense
oh
school
oh,
shooting
oh, oh
situation.
no.
That would be devastating. So yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, they should have to have the same type of rigorous testing as I'm proposing with just owning a rifle. Like especially to go through if we're going to make a like legislative like decision like all right, we're going to have up this service where veterans can go and apply to become extra security for a school. We you give them grants or whatever so that they're paid. Um, Probably not enough, unfortunately, but yeah, you give them grants. You got to test them. You got to make sure they're okay and that they can handle themselves and that they're not going to lose it because of what they've experienced. But man, that's a whole wrinkle I didn't even think of. But that's so tough.
Yeah, it is. The unfortunate thing is, there are no easy solutions. But like I've never heard legislators like spitballing ideas before. Like the first thing that I heard was like Trump wanting to bring, like teachers to carry firearms, and
Yeah.
that is definitely not the solution.
The cop with training broke in this
Yeah.
in the moment. Like I don't see most teachers being able to calmly and collectively, single-handedly defend their class. Like I'm sorry, I don't see that happening. I just don't.
Yeah.
Like it's
And a lot of teachers, well, most probably most or all teachers, they do not sign up to become, a teacher to then eventually maybe potentially kill someone.
yeah, that's crazy. Especially imagine if the shooter was a fucking student. Like imagine
Yeah.
how that would mess them up. Like
I mean, I believe he was a former student of the school, right?
yeah, that's what I believe so.
Yeah. 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 So that, and if they did go on and they take him out, that might like scar them for the rest of their life.
I mean, yeah,
That's
but I feel like the whole situation, there's a chance of that happening anyway because it's so traumatic.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Sure.
What do you know what the individual is being charged penalty wise?
I'm sorry.
What is the
What he's
individual?
being accused of?
Or no, what is the punishment as of now?
Oh, the punishment. Um, I don't think the a formal. I don't think the trial or whatever happened yet,
Okay.
but I do know that he's being charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder. So
Hmm.
it's probably he's either going to go to prison for the rest of his life, or he's going to get, the death penalty. I don't know if they have that in Florida.
Since we're already going on a controversial topic here, what do you think the death penalty is should be enacted in these kind of situations?
I mean, uh,
I mean,
honestly, I
it's
mean,
tough.
yeah, because I do know that the kid or whatever, he didn't have like the best past or whatever, but like I don't want to like say that that it should be justified what he did, because he had like I'm not trying to say that we should go easy on him
Oh no no no.
because he has like a mental. So should he get the death penalty? I
Or just
mean,
in general, just when these types of things happen, is the death penalty a reasonable punishment?
my gut reaction, uh, I would say yes. I mean,
Hmm. Case by
I don't
case.
know, like if you like do this sort of thing and it's premeditated, I don't know if you deserve to live.
Yeah,
But then,
that's a
but
whole philosophical thing.
yeah,
It's
but
all up to the
then
individual.
know that there are cases where people like they have like no control over themselves, like they do have like mental, like
Significant
like
mental
I don't know,
issues.
like yeah, like I don't want to say something that somebody might interpret as being not what I mean to say.
Yeah. No. Articulate
It's
how you wish.
yeah, this is a very difficult subject, and it's very controversial. So what do you think?
Personally, in cases like this, where it is premeditated, and honestly, also there's reports that he fucking went to Subway after this and fucking celebrated
Oh
before he
yeah,
got
I
caught.
did. I did hear about that.
That
Yeah.
motherfucker needs to get he needs to go, in my eyes. Of course, there are instances to move away from this specific example, but like where it's a significant mental issue, they don't know what they're doing, then maybe investigate. But like cases like this where it's blatant, like I really don't feel like we need to waste any amount of tax dollars keeping this motherfucker alive. Like that might sound really cold, and I understand that, but this has happened so much. Like we can't
Yeah. Okay.
harbor these people, you know?
So this is I can say this for 100% certainty. I don't think that this person should ever see the light of day again. Like meaning that
Agreed.
he should stay in prison for the rest of his life, and he should never be allowed back into society.
Absolutely not.
I can say that 100%.
Hmm.
Now, the death penalty thing, so like I said before, I don't know like the state of his I don't know like his mentality. Like yeah, it was premeditated, but I don't know like what's wrong with his head and all that. So like my gut instinct is yes, you should probably, this man does not deserve to live, but also I want to be like fair, I guess you could say, and like I don't know like how messed up he is,
You want to know the whole story before having such
Yeah,
a
yeah,
drastic judgment cast
yeah.
on someone,
That's
which
that's what I'm trying to say because there are a lot of mentally ill people out there that they do like bad things, but that doesn't mean they should be killed. Just because they're mentally ill.
yeah, yeah, don't definitely. That's why it's like yeah, it's very much you have to internally say what the line is for ourselves, each and every one of us. But yeah, like there's some people who can be rehabilitated, but
Exactly.
yeah, in which case like they didn't know or whatever. In which case, yeah, maybe some steps should be taken to maybe try and make that happen. But right now, specifically for this, like I really really, yeah, like you said, like at the very least, he should never ever see the light of day again. Like he no mercy with this motherfucker.
Right.
Like that's beyond apprehensible. But yeah,
And yeah,
we
like
need to know the full
before
story.
this all happened, there were like something like 30 911 calls to like that his mom or whoever made to their residence because
Hmm.
he was just like going off the walls, so there were lots of signs that this person needed help in some way, shape, or form. And unfortunately he never got it, or I don't know what happened, and this unfortunate incident happened. So
So it
um
was a failure on multiple fronts. It was a failure of the family
yeah,
for not giving, trying not to, give him the help he needed. It was a failure on the officers on the scene for not doing something. And then also before and after, it's a failure of the government for not trying to take at least some steps. I know there's not one magical solution, but some steps to make sure that it is less likely that this happens. So it's just like it's the
yeah,
perfect storm for a tragedy, and they all came to a head
yeah,
in
I
this specific
mean,
example.
knew about it. So like I heard that they received like multiple tips. Like people were warning them about him because they thought that there was something shady with him. So going forward, if you ever like a school, you can't. I don't think you can like really joke about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, not
Like
really.
if you do, you should be very thoroughly investigated because it's a very serious thing um to say. Like if you say some shit like that like publicly or even privately to people, I think you deserve to be thoroughly investigated because just can't take any more chances anymore.
Yeah. And honestly, like since then, like in Florida alone, I guess they've gotten a lot of reports from like people who, you know, are having control of weapons or are threatening things. So it's like you can't investigate all of them because it
Right.
happens so often, but you should
Yeah.
also treat every one of them as a potential incident but you can't because that's not possible. But at the same time, you can't dismiss them either. So I don't know, man. What are they supposed to
Yeah,
do?
it's you know, you got to get the wheel turning somehow.
Yeah,
Like
just get the
you got to
snowball off the mountain, let it build up momentum, get the little solutions, try to make some kind of difference.
just try something. Propose something. Um, and yeah, like let's get the ball rolling. I don't know why it's taking this long.
NRA, government corruption, spending, it's at the top level. And that's really all it is.
I mean, I would say that's like number one thing that like I think that the government needs to do something about. That's like no, like I love this country. I'm not from here
Mhm.
originally, but I'm never gonna leave at this point. So I hope that by the time I have children, they won't have to worry about something like this happening. I won't have to worry about it,
Mhm.
and we can move. You know, I guess I don't know if that's sounds insensitive, but
No, no,
what
not
what
at
I mean
all.
by that is, like, obviously we're not going to forget about what happened, but we are going to not have to worry about it happening going forward.
Yeah, no, that's not
You know,
insensitive. That's what we all ultimately want to hope for is so
right.
we can send our kids to school and not be afraid. And that's
Hmm.
going to take significant steps, different solutions coming from different angles from both the the school level and the legislative level. Like it's going to take multiple solutions to try to actually fix this problem. Because like I said, there's not going to be one magical bill you can pass that'll fix all this. Banning guns is not going to fix all this. Putting in medical or metal detectors at school is not going to fix this. But a combination of these things, like it's, I don't know. We
Right.
have to try something, as you said,
Hmm.
multiple things, anything, but we need to stop. We can't let kids keep fucking getting killed. That's it's not acceptable. And these people mentally ill, yes, most of the time, but like we need to get it's so hard. They need help. We need to make sure that we give them the help that they need before this stuff happens,
Hmm.
if possible. So that's up to the families. And then also, yeah, just not probably not giving all of our teachers guns, but because that's just sounds like a recipe for disaster. But
Horrible idea.
being aware of these things before they happen, likely, and then also if it does happen, having training from officers on the ground or even teachers, like maybe not have them armed, but have them have like we have lockdown procedures in schools, like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like some kind of procedure for when these things happen.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I'm like this is a downer, but I feel like this is a conversation that needed to be had. It's timely, and we gotta figure out something. It's really sad at this point. It's sad a while ago, but especially now, like it just builds, and I'm pretty fucking sick and tired of it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. You got any final thoughts on this this very heavy bit?
Um, no, I think I hit everything I wanted to say. So
Okay.
yeah, I think sure.
All right. Yeah. Just be good to each other at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So before we move on to I recommend, we have some rapid fire questions from the internet at large. Submit a question, write it at Gridlife Digest on Twitter or on a corresponding thread on a certain Facebook group. I didn't do it this week, unfortunately. So I've never heard of this individual before, but Micah Beanfet. I think.
Yeah, doesn't sound familiar to me.
He asks, "What's your favorite pizza dipping sauce?" So basically a total 180.
Hmm.
What is the quintessential dipping sauce?
First thing I thought of, I really enjoy barbecue sauce.
An
Um,
underrated one, I feel, but only on certain
yeah.
pizzas. It has to be on a very specific pizza for it to work.
So usually, no, I've been my go-to pizza now is Papa John's.
Oh no.
And
Oh no.
what's wrong with Papa
It's
John's?
not great. It's not great. I don't know.
I
It's not
I
bad.
think it's great. Have barbecue like sauce that like you could have like barbecue sauce like instead of tomato sauce on the pizza.
Yeah, we do that too at my work.
So that is freaking delicious. And then they have garlic sauce in like their pizza boxes that you could use.
Hmm.
So pretty big fan of garlic sauce. That's good. Um, hmm, I don't know. What about you?
So I'm super lame and boring, but I'm addicted to ranch. And
Oh, ranch. Ooh, I love ranch, dude. Love
um,
some ranch.
also sriracha.
Ooh,
I
ooh, yes.
I ranch and sriracha on pizza. The 1-2 punch there. Big fan. That's my go-to, honestly. If I can get ranch and sriracha on a pizza that I don't particularly care about, um, I'll be happy.
Yes, that sounds great to me.
And then he also asks, who do you think is the front man of Gridlife Digest as a whole? So, like, I don't like this question necessarily because I want us all to have a slice of the pie, as it were. But I guess, like, if we had to have one person as a spokesperson, who do you think it would be? If we had
I
to?
mean, uh, I would say it's you because you're the host of the podcast and
Yeah.
you're on like every single episode.
It's just because I have to I record it and everything. It kind of have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to
I
get us
mean,
to a point eventually where we all kind of have our thing, you know? I'll be in charge of the podcast or whatever. Like Micah does like his very like cinematic video stuff. Like Max is starting to get more into writing. Emma's doing Grid Life Gold a lot. Like so I kind of want us to all have an equal piece of the pie eventually. I know that's hard with like schedules. I know like a lot of us start in school and stuff, and I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to do as much as I'm doing like when I get back to school.
yeah.
Um, so I guess yeah, as of right now, I could see that. Mike is also starting to do a lot more too. So yeah, if I had to pitch us to like a if I was to go on Shark Tank and pitch them Grid Life Digest, I suppose yeah I might do it, but I don't know. We'll see. I want to proliferate all of our personalities into different things. Um, so carryover from last week, Javin Mather asks, "What game have you bought the most times?" So what single game have you bought several times, if any?
Probably GTA 5.
It's a good one. They released it a
First,
while.
yeah, I think I was like it came out in 2013, right?
Yes, because it was like Last of Us and GTA
Yeah,
5
okay.
vying for Game of the Year.
So sophomore in high school, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it on the Xbox 360 when Target had that sale before I bought the PS4. I believe I got GTA 5 on the PS4 and fairly recently, like probably about a month ago, GTA 5 was on sale on Steam for like $1. So I bought it.
Got to do it.
Oh yeah, and then okay, so I technically bought it 4 times.
Holy shit.
So before okay, so before I bought it for like the $20 price.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it on Steam like a couple months back. Um and then I refunded it because my brother uninstalled it from his PC. So I'm like, well, I can't play it anymore. So I'll just get my money back
Let's
and
get your
then
money
buy
back.
it later.
That's true.
And so I did that. And yeah, so I guess technically I bought that game like 4 times. So I think that's probably mine.
That's a good pick. I will have bought that twice when I do get it on PC, which I do want that to happen. I want to play it on PC in first person because I like the idea of the first person controls, but just on the controller it didn't feel right on PS4,
I
which was
mean,
my first time going through it.
yeah, for me, like the only reason I bought it on PC, I could play on like I could get mods like
Oh yeah.
so my friend and I we downloaded like uh I don't this is like PC so it's kind of foreign to me, but it was like basically we got into like a role play server.
Yeah, it
And
was pretty
so
popular.
uh yeah, so it wasn't like GTA Online, it was like GTA RP. It was a lot of fun, like playing on my friend's account one day over at his house, and we had just finished doing like a weed run or something, and we were gonna go like sell it.
Yeah, of course.
And so I was playing on his PC using his PC controls, so using like mouse and keyboard to steer the car and stuff. And I'm not really a PC gamer, so was like pretty crazy,
Mm.
and I ended up like getting into like a head-on collision with like a cop who was like, and so we had like a whole interaction where he was asking me like what I was doing. And
Sir.
I told him I was quote unquote high as hell. And I
Of
totally
course.
forgot. I forgot for like a second that he was a cop, and he
Smart.
then proceeded to search me. And I had all this all these drugs on me, and so he sent me to jail for 30 in-game years. So equates to 30 minutes, 1 year, 1 minute for. So for the next 30 minutes, I was just like hanging around the jail, and it was great. It was so funny,
I mean
so
that
much fun.
that honestly is probably more accurate. Like if you were quote high as hell, like that's probably not too far off from what you would tell a police officer. It's like
Right.
I'm high as hell. You don't know. Um, yeah, those
It
like our
it was so much fun.
role playing in PC games has always interested me. I like the idea
Hmm.
of it, but never the execution. Like I tried in Gary's mod, um, a RP
Hmm.
server one time, and
Yeah.
it was fun for a while, but then just the toxicity eventually takes
Oh, okay.
center stage, and so then it was very regimented. It was actually I think it was a Star Wars one. It was like an Imperial
Hmm.
role playing or whatever,
Yeah.
and they always had like these meetings where you know how in Return of the Jedi, like in the beginning where Darth Vader comes down in his shuttle and like all the
Yeah.
stormtroopers are lined up. Basically, we had to make that happen with like
Hmm.
a ton of people, and it was cool. But there was like these two people that would just like have this like just super cancerous like screeching sound come out of their mics every so often during like this
Yeah.
like like we're all lined up at like so and then just all of a sudden I was or just something obnoxious like that, and I'm just like, all right, I can't do this anymore. So I we had all of our weapons unequipped, and so I was like, I'm gonna go out with a bang. And so that I take out the Imperial rifle that I have or whatever, and then I just I go out a file, I turn around, and I just start just shooting into the crowd, and then pretty much immediately they all did the same and just lit me up, and I was dead in half a second. So that's my best
Nice.
role playing experience in a game.
Well, I mean, in the server that I was playing on, like the mods, are somewhat strict, like,
Hmm.
to prevent like like if you start trolling, you're gonna get kicked,
Mm.
and possibly even banned. So like when I was playing it, didn't experience a lot of like anything like that really. And uh, yeah, they some of those people, they take that shit like really seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's like a line. It's like we gotta take it seriously, but also like
Hmm.
don't take it too seriously. Like
Yeah,
that, like
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
very fine line you have to walk for it to work, and that's just not ever gonna happen just because of how human beings work. So
Hmm.
I really like the idea, but in practice it just kind of falls apart eventually. And yeah, I've seen just like let's plays and stuff of the GTA ones, and it's always funny just having like the cops and just random civilians and stuff. Like it's pretty entertaining stuff. All right, next question.
Like some of the most fun I've had of recent in like a video game, because
Mhm.
I was playing it with my friend, and ridiculous and so funny. And like like some of the people that you meet on there are just like so clever and hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that always makes it
like
better.
whenever I get the money to build my own PC, I'm definitely getting back into that. Or if I could somehow convince my brother to let me install it on his computer again.
Hmm. To back to what the original question was, what game have I bought more than once? I've my first gut reaction is Skyrim because I bought it on the PC first, realized I couldn't run it for shit on my laptop, so then Xbox 360 version, played a lot of that, and then the Xbox One version when that came out. And then technically I got the special edition for free on PC too. So I owned it twice on PC. I only bought it once on PC, but I owned it twice on PC and then twice on consoles. I haven't jumped on Switch yet because I feel like if I do, like I'll just be locked in a fucking devil. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a pact with Todd Howard over Skyrim. Um, Also, I think I've purchased the entire Mass Effect trilogy 3 times because I bought it on one account on my PC. Then
Really?
I lost access to that account and I couldn't get the password or whatever because it was attached to an email that got deleted or whatever. And then so I had to rebuy it on there. And then I also bought it on Xbox. So I had it 3 times there.
Damn. That's
Worth
some
it.
dedication.
That's worth every penny. I don't feel shafted at all. Um, I bought The Witcher 3 twice. Once I bought it, and then I bought it for somebody else because I was just so enamored with it. I was like, I need to give these people more money. Um, that's one of the only examples I can think of that happening where I'm like, please take more of my money. Like it was so fucking good. I need to show my support. I think that's it though. Skyrim is definitely the top. All right, next question. Buyer's remorse. First game you were legitimately angry at yourself for paying full price for. You ever have buyer's
Huh.
remorse?
I probably have, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember anything off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna see if I'm gonna look at my some of my games and see if I could jog my memory a bit.
So the only one I can really think of, it wasn't really remorse, but it was just like kind of significant disappointment, was Mass Effect Andromeda, because as clearly have mentioned, I'm a huge fan of the trilogy, so I was like, I'm obviously going to be there day one, but all the signs were there. Everyone was saying it was glitchy as hell, and I didn't listen, and so it was just 50 hours of just continual downward disappointment. So that's probably the game I regret buying. First, and then second of all, Destiny 2. I bought it on digitally, thinking I was going to play it for hundreds of hours, and then in reality, I put like 25, 30 into it and never touched it again, wishing I could take it back. Man, and Battlefront 2. Man, there was a
Um,
lot of buyer's remorse last year for me.
okay, so I have something. I don't really regret buying this, but I mean, I don't know. This is probably gonna trigger you though.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
I don't know if you could see
Oh, no.
the
Say it ain't
Metal
so.
Gear,
Say it
Metal
ain't
Gear
so.
Solid
That's the best collection of
HD
games ever made.
collection.
Oh, man.
So here's the thing with me. I had like years ago, I was a young lad.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of things about this game, and so like I had like some coupon where it was like buy or buy one get one, however much off or some. I think it was like buy two get one free pre-owned,
Yeah.
and so I bought this, and I started like the Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty.
Yeah, you can't start with
And
that. You got to start with one, or else it all doesn't
yeah,
make sense.
yeah. So when I started the game, I had literally no idea what I was doing.
hmm
Like the controls, I don't know, I just felt I was not in love with them.
Oh no,
And
the
then
controls are
so
bad.
I started like doing some research, and then yeah, basically people were saying, you got to start with one. Um, and I'm like, damn, well, I bought this game and I can't, I'm not gonna play it because like, I don't have the first one. So I mean,
I uh,
I don't regret buying it, but like, I guess at the time I was like, damn, I wish I got the first
wish I
one
got the
instead
first
of
one.
this.
I mean, was
Yeah,
was that a 360 copy?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, you fucked up there because one of the things that makes the controls less bad is the fact that the DualShock controllers, the buttons are actually you can press them halfway, and that's actually
Uh,
really important in Metal Gear because how you aim your weapon is by pressing in square halfway and then firing it is full way. So on the 360 controller, you basically can only fire. You can't aim. So you're just like you
gotcha.
have to be a gun-toting idiot the entire time. And also on PS3 you can get them all. So really, like if you're not playing on PS3, it's botched. Because yeah, you can get one, you can get four. Is Peace Walker in that collection? Because
Mm,
that one has actually competent controls, and I actually would recommend you play that because you really don't need to know
it
what else is
is
happening.
this collection.
Okay, yeah, because
Yeah, it
you really
is.
don't need to have much prior knowledge at all. Besides, I mean, probably three, but it kind of tells you everything about three that you would need to know, and that controls like much more like a modern game.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I do have a game I regret buying, like legitimately.
Okay,
When Pokemon came out, I
yes,
decided I was gonna be cool this time. I was gonna splurge. I was gonna get both of the games because I'm like, I've never done this before.
I got
Usually
disposable income now.
I just get like one of the games, and that will satisfy me. But I'm like, nah, I have a job now, so I can afford these things.
Yeah,
I bought like the Sun and Moon dual pack or whatever. Comes with both games, physical copies at GameStop. And I played Sun. I enjoyed it for what it was. Um, I think I put like 50 total hours into it, and yeah. So then Pokemon Moon. I'm not gonna play that right away. Why would I do that?
yeah,
Because
I have them, but I'm not gonna play it right away.
and then so months and months and months go by. I still haven't played this game. Pokemon Sun and Moon, Pokemon no Ultra Moon
Ultra,
and Omega Sun or whatever the fuck the games are called
who knows?
are they're announced. I'm like, okay, this is the perfect time to jump into Pokemon Moon. And I'm like, okay, playing the game. Minutes in, I'm like, all right, I don't want to play this fucking game. Why did I buy
It's the
this?
same fucking game, turns out.
Exactly. So I'm like, damn, never again.
They got you. Nintendo got you.
Yeah, they got me.
They set the trap. You
They got
walked
me.
right into it.
Those bastards at Nintendo.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. This is kind of a hypothetical one, but what would be your personal like dream AAA like full big budget VR experience? If you could take like any possible scenario and turn it into a VR game, what would it be?
Oh goodness. Hmm.
The sky's the limit
Um.
on this one.
Yeah. Do you have anything that comes to mind?
I want them to remake the X-Wing and TIE Fighter games in VR. That's all I want.
Hmm.
Full realistic looking graphics like Battlefront 2. Full VR. That's all I want. Give it to me.
I mean, I've never tried PlayStation VR, so I don't I don't know how great or how bad it is. This is pretty hard. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard good things about it.
I mean, have you tried any VR in general, not just PlayStation? Because like it's kind of a like you
Mm,
see it to believe it type of thing. I've done it.
no, not really.
I've done it twice, and like I didn't really get it the first time, but then I did a couple demos, and I'm like, wow, this is really really fucking cool. So yeah, I guess you'd have to really get your hands on a
I
demo the
mean,
hardware and see what kind of experience would fit for you.
I mean, Skyrim VR looks like pretty insane.
Yeah,
Like that looks cool. I'd love to try that.
yeah.
So I guess maybe like any game that's like Skyrim. So maybe like Horizon or The Witcher 3 would be interesting.
If they
I don't know.
did The Witcher 3 in VR, I could basically just quit life. That's all I would
Yeah,
need. Yeah. First person, give it to me.
like any game where like it's first person, you know, there's lots of exploring to do. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Definitely. They would basically have to turn The Witcher into Skyrim for it to work, but I'd still be okay with it because that world is just beautiful. So what next one? What was the first game in a given genre that officially piqued your interest in the genre? So basically, like, what was, for example, he gave like what was the first RPG that was like I'm gonna play more RPGs, but like it doesn't have to be that, but like what was the first game in a given genre that made you interested in that genre?
In RPGs?
No, just in any genre. Just like what was for me, for example, I never liked turn-based strategy games, but then I played XCOM, and now I'm a pretty big fan. Like, what was the one game that all made it click
Um,
in a given genre that you previously did not like?
hmm, that's a toughie.
It is a toughie.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything right now.
Okay, maybe we can come back to it next week.
So
Um,
I played a lot of games, you know.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's hard. Um, and so a fucking crazy person asks, his name's Eli Shaw. He asks, "Why do you like mint chocolate chip?"
Because it's fucking
It's
amazing.
fucking amazing, Eli. What is wrong with you?
Like
Who
what?
hurt you as a child? I want to know. Can I talk to them? Like,
It's
can we
so
get them on
good.
the
Like
show? It's amazing. It's like one of humanity's greatest inventions. Mint and chocolate chip ice cream is incredible. Mint chocolate chip everything is incredible. Like, what?
I mean,
Why?
mint in general is just amazing.
It
Like
really
you
is.
put that in anything, and you're gonna have like at least a good product.
Yeah, it's
But
oh my gosh, who hurt you?
like,
I feel so sorry for him, you know? I
yeah, like
it's
Thin Mints.
oh
Ooh,
my gosh, Eli, what he doesn't like spicy things. He doesn't like mint things. Like you're
you
not
know,
living.
this just reminded me that I still have to go to McDonald's and get one of them Shamrock shakes because they're
Shamrock
back.
Shake, that's another example.
Yeah, like freaking delicious.
Oh my god, Eli. What are you doing? You're
Maybe I'll go tomorrow.
you're fucking up. You're fucking up.
But yeah,
I kind
it's
of want to get
so
one.
good, dude.
I kind of want to get one too. That Shamrock. Shamrock goodness. All right. Well, that man, I'm sorry, Eli. Like I just, whatever happened, like just like look at me, look at me. Whatever happened in your childhood that made you this way, I'm truly apologize from the bottom of my heart. All right, now it's time for I recommend, where one of us recommends to the group something for the others to check out. It can be anything, and last time we recommended, I can't speak. Last time we were recommended the first episode of the Black Panther motion comic animated series thing. You did not watch it, right?
No, I did not.
So I'll just give a very quick opinion. Way more brutal than I thought it was going to be. Right off the gate, I liked how it was the Black Panther with cloth armor, not invincible vibranium bulletproof armor Black Panther. That's was a big issue I'd had with the movie. The voice acting overall generally didn't wow me at all. I thought it was pretty undercooked. The animation style looked cheap. I really like the theme song. The theme song was cool. So I'm glad you recommended it, Eli, or not Eli. Sorry, I just got Eli on the brain. Micah, give a little bit more context to Black Panther. The whole idea of Captain America coming in the 1940s and seeing a bunch of Nazi corpses was interesting, but probably not something I'm going to search out more. And I never want to use Daily Motion ever again.
Ooh, Daily Motion.
It's rough. It's rough.
It is.
But it might be the YouTube alternative that we all need if YouTube continues to be stupid. So maybe we should be nice to Daily Motion. All right, so this week's recommendation goes to you, Matt. Take us home.
Okay, so well, I'm gonna recommend this documentary series on Netflix. It's called Dirty Money, and basically, it's like a bunch of documentaries about well, for example, like the first episode is about the whole Volkswagen thing, how they were telling customers that their cars were clean diesels, and you were basically helping out the environment by driving them, because you know they advertised their cars as being like really eco-friendly and stuff, but then it turns out that they were faking their emission tests and stuff.
Oh shit.
So in all actuality, like their cars were polluting the country like way more than is like legally they were allowed to. And so that it talks about like how the like executives, the executives, like the top people, they knew about it and stuff, how they covered it up. And yeah, like there's another episode about like the maple syrup heist in Canada.
What?
Yeah, so like in Canada, like how they take their maple syrup like really serious and stuff.
Yes, that's not just a stereotype.
Yeah, it's not just a stereotype, which I didn't know. Like I didn't really know before like watching this documentary, because I thought it was just a stereotype. But basically in Canada they have like this reserve, like this big ass like factory where they store like hundreds of barrels of this stuff. And at one point some people decided they were gonna steal all of it and take all the syrup out of the barrels and return the barrels, and nobody noticed for like a long time. And then they had to investigate it and stuff. And it's just like really interesting. So just like pick it, like any episode that you find will be like the most interesting to you, and let me know what you think of it. Because when I discovered this, I've been like, I watched all 6 episodes in like 2 or 3 days, because I thought they were really interesting documentaries. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That all sounds really fascinating. That syrup heist thing needs to be a movie. Like I need to see that as a feature film. Very interested. Very like obscure like topics that I really am interested in diving into. So go watch an episode of Dirty Money, right?
Yeah, Dirty Money.
Dirty Money. And this has been episode 26 of Gridlife Digest Weekly. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, you can head over to gridlifedigest.com to see all the content in one place. Consider subscribing on YouTube and the podcast service of your choice. You never miss what's happening. We'll be back next Wednesday with another conversation. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Be good to each other. Thank you for doing this with me, Matt. It's always a pleasure.
You too.
And see you next time.